there. Welcome back to My Life as a Landlord. I am Dr. Jen, and I am here with an amazing guest today. He's got an advantage that the rest of us listeners probably don't have. I'll get to that in a second. But he is actually part of a duo, mother-son duo, who are really impressive out of Tucson, Arizona. They're actually in several real estate investor clubs with Michael and I am so privileged to have Michael Rebelo with me on the show today. Hi.
Jennifer, the pleasure is mine. This is just awesome. Great to see you in person. Great to see you and your husband's story just coming through the real estate industry and just great to be on your podcast. This is just awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. That's fantastic. Now, you guys, I know we're going to get into EverForward Capital Partners, but your mom, she's quite a matriarch, but she wasn't the matriarch that started this, right? There was the grandma. Tell us the
Ooh.
story. What happened?
Yeah, so really to kind of really rewind years ago. This was before I was born, obviously, because I'm only 20. But my grandmother's side of the family, they started in the real estate industry with, construction, renting out single families, duplexes, the tenement houses, the tenement homes and stuff like that. And my mother and I never really knew that that's something that was kind of in our blood, that was kind of in our bloodstream. We are like, we never really thought of doing real estate. We've always thought of investing in it, but we didn't want to be, um, you know, doing the single family, doing the duplex, being that on-site landlord. It's like, how could we be less active, like less on site,
Mm.
and then stumbling into multifamily. But kind of a long story short, yeah, it's kind of my grandmother that kind of started this. It was the kind of the inspiration of like, yeah, actually, why don't we do real estate? I mean, instead of, the stocks, the 401ks, the IRAs, mom and I kind of figured out that we need to figure out some better return metrics for our family. But it always went back to that core thing of real estate. Our family's done it. My great uncles did it. My grandmother did it. My grandfather did. I'm like, well, might as well just carry on the family legacy with real estate. I mean, why not? So it was kind of very apropos, I will say, and almost fate, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, in a sense, she did have quite a bit of the foundational block for the real estate business that mom and I have.
That's pretty cool. Now, one of the things that's so unique about what you guys are doing, I mean, you guys are just everywhere all the time. It's really interesting to watch. You're in all my Facebook feeds. I mean, you're just everywhere. So it's really great to have you on the show finally. Finally, super happy to have you. Um, but I laugh because some of the things that you guys are doing are so uh, pivotal with just inherent thinking. Like it's almost like the basics. It's like Kobe shooting free throws constantly. And with you guys talking a lot about Middle America and Main Street and all of that, I go, it's the same type of vibe. How did you guys get into that type of vibe?
Hmm. Ooh, that's a story. So once upon a time. No, I'm kidding. But it all started. Wow. I love telling this story because, it really shows my youth. It really shows my inexperience with this. But when I was 17 at the time, I actually was speaking about this at Peak Partnership on stage. And I was kind of telling a little bit my story. But 17 at the time, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of thinking about college. I could care less. Maybe I
Mm.
need to get a job, whatever. Something. Something to at least, start getting some income. I've always had that little inkling to own my own business and to start investing. I started to look into investing in the S&P 500. I started to look into investing in oil and stuff like that. I'm like, what is this investing gig all about? I started to take business and finance classes in high school because I've always been fascinated with that stuff. I'm like, that's just so cool. You can invest in a company? Like what? Like I don't know why. It's always fascinated me to have like a little share of this massive pie. It's like I have an ownership in that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, long story short, I thought it was pretty cool. And not only that, to build something on your own, this business, and actually be a founder, a president, a actual boss. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. My mother comes home one day and I'm just kind of relaxing. I forget what I was doing. And she's like, we need to talk. And I'm like, that could mean numerous amount of things. Either I'm in a lot of trouble or something bad happened. And she's like, I'm going to teach you about 401ks, CDs, IRAs, and what happened in 2008 to our family. I'm like, uh, okay, I'm not sure how this applies to me, but sure, I don't mind learning from mom because she's very well first financially. Then she hits me with this. She says, I did a disservice to you. And I'm like, why? How? Like, what do you mean? You give me a roof over my head. You're feeding me. You had to deal with me growing up and trying to make me a man. Like, what do you mean you did a disservice to me? And she's like, I cannot believe I've been this financially illiterate and unaware of our returns. And I'm like, what do you mean? So long to keep that story short, it was I was supposed to be getting or at least grandfathered into a 5% return on my CDs because she put money away when I was born. Well, apparently I was still making 1.25% for all those years.
Oh
And
no.
nobody informed us about it of a local credit union that we've been with for years, my family. And all of a sudden she started telling me that her 401k isn't performing as it should be. My grandparents lost about $80,000 to 2008, and she's working harder than she should, but also not getting paid as much to keep everything afloat and keep everything steady. It's like it's slowly eroding, inflation, economic change. And I'm scratching my head and going, why? Like what is happening behind the scenes that I'm so unaware about? And that's kind of the same mindset that we both had. Like it was like, what happened? How can we fix this? So we sat down, we honestly just grabbed a regular notebook and we started to write down every kind of investment that we could think of: oil, gas, silver, gold. It didn't matter, any sort of stock. So I kind of put the pedal on that and I said, Mom, I'm learning about investing in the stock market, the S&P 500, futures, Fortune 500, stuff like that. Why don't we get some play money and I can invest it through Fidelity or whatever and, maybe makes a passive income. And she's like, you think you can do that? I'm like, yeah, I'll try. I tried it. My eyes peeled on Bloomberg, Schwab, Yahoo Finance, Market Watch, and just watching the tickers and just going back and forth, buying, selling, and studying what the next day is going to look like. I made
Mm.
money, but it wasn't enough. And not only that, I was going in as a novice because it's great to learn in school, but once you actually start doing it, it's a whole different game. It's like real estate, it's a whole different beast. I'm uh, like from market close to market open, I was like a trading lunatic, but it wasn't sustainable. I couldn't scale it. So I'm like, back to the drawing board, I guess. And we always kept coming back to real estate. And we were like, you know what? Our family's done it before. Our uncles, our parents, our grandparents have done it. Why don't we do it as well? We are like, okay. We didn't want to do
Hmm.
the duplex, the triplex, or live in one side of the townhome and, rent it out. It just wasn't our niche, especially with me being in school and mom having a full time job and taking care of her two parents. It was like, it just didn't add up. And then later on, it was May of 2023, we learned about multifamily real estate, apartment investing.
Mm.
And we are like, you can do what now? Like, excuse me? Hold
Right.
on. So obviously computers listen, so do phones. So we had the cookies come up to say, like, hey, if you want to invest in this apartment complex, click here. Something like that. I was like an ad. Get what investment company it was. But I remember as clear as day, mom was sitting in the living room and she clicks on it. She's like, hey, I think we can invest in real estate passively. I'm like, no way. For anyone that's well versed in the real estate industry, to only publicly list something, you're supposed to be accredited in order, or it's an accredited offering. You can only
Right.
accept accredited investors. So she goes in there, and then one of the forms is, are you making $200,000 right now for the next 2 years or in the past 2 years? Or do you have $1 million in assets? If you're married, do you have 300? And she's like, I don't make that much. I don't have that much in assets.
Mm.
And she's like, well, guess that's shot. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then we learned that we could actually do this. We could actually, find our own deals, raise capital, fund them, and do these apartment investments, like bring these groups of investors together and build this business structure, which is also known as the syndication, where we're like, you can do that? Excuse me? Like what? And then it was from May to July that we truly buckled down and learned this. And then for the rest of the year, we just started to learn it. We were like, no way. But the coaching program we went with was Peak Multifamily. At the time, it was the Multifamily Mindset. They've changed their name quite a few times. I've lost track. But I remember somebody saying, what is your why? What is the reason to join this business, to join this industry? You know, everybody wants the money, but what's the reason behind the money? That's the point. What does the heart say? And I actually sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, well, what does my heart say? What do I actually want? And I thought for like a good long time, even my mother asked me, she's like, well, why do you want to do this? Why are you so hungry to do this business? And after like a good 2 minutes, I'm like, you know what? I want to retire you. Plain and simple. I want to retire you. She's like, is that what you want to do? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And just keep working through that and to be able to retire my mother because to give back to her as much as I can from raising me to keeping the roof over our head, working at W2, really slaving away in a W2, and then learning that financial stability may not even be there. I'm like, the most that I could do is give back to her and to retire her and to keep her financially stable. And then it started to evolve a little bit more from that why. It's like, I want to help mom, but I know full well there's more people out there like mom in middle America that are working in corporate America. And I'm like, well, why can't I just, I can help her, but why not help other people just like her? And I realized I'm like, I could do that. It's middle America. I want to teach people how to do this, what I'm doing, what I'm learning. Sure, I'm 19, 20. Now I'm 20, going to be turning 21 soon. It's like, why can't I teach it? I'm like, yeah, I'm still new, but I've been in the business for 2 years. Why can't I teach people what I've learned now and have leaned on so many mentors and experts to go, here, this is what I'm doing at such a young age, and this is what me and my mother are doing. You could do the same thing, and I want to teach you. So it all came down to the why of I want to retire my mother and to help other middle Americans like her achieve true financial freedom and also buy back their time because money will come and go, but time won't. So it's like, okay, long story short, that's really how we got into the industry. It's a lot more than just the asset count. It's a lot more than the unit count or the cash flow. It's who do you serve, who do you help, and why do you do what you do, and who are you as an individual. And that's me in a nutshell. That's it.
And recently your mother did retire.
Absolutely. She was able to walk away from her corporate job and join me in the entrepreneurial space full time with EverForward Capital Partners. She's been corporate America free since the end of February of this year, 2026. And hopefully, now my goal is to financially stabilize her so she doesn't have to work another day in her life. And hopefully, that'll be soon. So we're on track.
But she will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Knowing her grit and mine, oh, yeah, it'll come pretty quickly. But yeah, it's just so good to have her free of the bondage of fueling somebody else's yacht in corporate America when we could be helping other people. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like,
That's
wow, we did it.
amazing.
Now it's just to
Yeah.
financially have that basis. So that's
So
how we
how
are.
did you guys come up on the name EverForward? Because your EverForward mindset on your podcast.
Yep.
That's a pretty catchy name. Did you guys throw that into AI? How'd you come up with that?
So actually, when we were building out our company, we were trying to think, we were racking our brains on the trying to figure out what do we want to name our company? What do we want to be branded as? I think
Hmm.
that's the hardest part of the business is choosing your company name and the branding.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, this has to be easier than it is. Well, a little bit of cultural history. We're Portuguese. I'm full-blooded Portuguese, and so is my
Hmm.
family. We come from the Azores, a couple of small islands, the archipelago off of Portugal, in the Atlantic. And we have this phrase that my family has used for generations, sempre frente. So, like, it basically means keep your head up, always move ever forward, keep going forward, don't look back. It's like, just keep going. Just keep going forward, keep going till the mission's done. And we're like, well, we can't say sempre frente enterprises or capital partners or like if you're not a part of the culture, it'll be like, how do I say that? And typing it, forget it. But
Right.
anyway, we're like, what does it translate to? And then we figured out ever forward, always moving forward, keeping your head up, always keeping forward to that mission. And we're like, ever forward. So it's like it has that mindset piece that we'll always move ever forward no matter the circumstance, whether we fall ever forward. If the day is tough, doesn't matter, ever forward. If the investment right now is declining, doesn't matter, ever forward. How are we going to solve it? If the market's going down, doesn't matter, ever forward. It's like that's our mindset. Just keep going one step further than you were yesterday. That's the goal. So, yeah, there's a little bit of cultural history and a lot of mindset behind the name. That's how we came up with it.
Michael, I know you and we've met on several occasions in different arenas and different groups and stuff, and I don't see a lot of mother-son duos. I know there are others that are with their parents,
Right.
but you are the youngest guest I've ever had on the show, and I'm in year four. And the next youngest guest was in his 20s, and now you are 20. And so I'm just thinking, most 20-year-olds aren't hanging with their moms, right?
No,
Like,
no.
how did that all happen? Just you like what she was doing and you said, "Yeah, I'm in."
Honestly, with real estate, it was a collective effort where we both were like 50-50 on it. And
Okay.
my mother and I, we've always worked so well. It actually goes back to the days of middle school and high school, where it's like I would have this. I'm going to go on a tangent a little bit with the
Sure.
education system. The crap that I learned in high school has no influence on what I have today, except my business and finance teacher. God bless him. He's awesome. Um, but, I would come home like, Mom, I have no idea how to do this geometry problem. Like, it's in gibberish. Like, I don't understand how to decipher this. But she was like, you know what? Open your notebook. Let's break it down. And I realized that she's the pragmatic and mathematical side that I don't have. That is
Mhm.
my huge weakness. It's the business development and the structure and pragmatic side that I lack and I'm still building. Me, on the other hand, I could see the outcome, I could see the solution, I have the vision. I'm very much the brand forward kind of guy. I'm very much the aesthetic, where it's like, all right, I could do all of this. This is the vision, the mission, the goal, but I don't know how to get there. And this is what gets me there. So this is me and this is mom. And I realized that, wait, we actually complement each other on a professional level. It's like if you remove the mother son aspect out of it, and that's actually what we do when we come into the office, we put that aside. And it's like, all right, we're both business partners. How can we maximize our time? And we realized that we both complement each other. And I realized that, wait, my mom has my weaknesses as her strengths, and I have her weaknesses as my strengths. I'm like, I think it's very complimentary. It sounds equilibrium to me
Mhm.
in the business world. So I'm like, okay. So we both realized that, we're both 50-50 on this, tackling this. We're both like, yeah, let's do multifamily real estate. Let's build a business together, mother and son team. And with that skill set and those strengths and weaknesses acknowledged and now capitalized on, we were like, let's go for it. And I love how rare this duo is because I hate to say this, but there's not a lot of sons out there that'll be proud to, be next to their mother in business or just personally. But as Mediterranean blood, mothers, grandmothers, families, everything, you keep it in the family. And I cherish my family to the absolute highest degree. I mean, they're everything to me. They've been there for me all the time. The best that I could do is bring them to success as much as I can. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's rare, it's unorthodox, it's very much unheard of, but I'm glad. I'm good with that because on a professional level, we complement each other so well. It's like perfect. Like I
Why
couldn't ask
not?
for more.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. That's really cool. Well, and your age has opened many doors, and that's the one advantage that you have over all of us is that, you're 20 years old. Me with, I've got 20 years of history already, but I started when I was 29. You're 20, add 20 years to it. I mean, you're 2 years in, you're 38. I mean, that's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. The runway that you're starting, the advantage is time, is you're starting early. Tell us about some of the doors that have been opened because you are young and some of the folks that you have encountered, because I know you have had some amazing people that you've been able to interact with because you're so young.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, my youth is, it's two sides of the coin. It's my Achilles heel, but it's also my greatest strength. And you're right, it
Mm,
is my greatest strength because I have this gigantic 8 mile, uh, runway to kind of launch myself. Where there's a lot of people out there that don't have that length of a runway, but I acknowledge that. I'm like, well, I'm young. Instead of me going to college and getting a job, why don't I build something now that works for me? So for the next 65 years, it could work for me. Like, why can't I capitalize on that now? Like, hello.
right.
But it's a very rare realization that people my age have because they're always like, let's go to college, get a job, get the degree and everything else. I'm like, that's just not me. That's just not me. Like I cannot utilize those tools to serve the purpose of which I'm here for, and that's to help other middle Americans like my mom. But anyway, the negative side of my youth is I'm very inexperienced. And I acknowledge that at a very early time. I'm like, I don't have a business background. I mean, as much as I do in high school of learning business and finance and entrepreneurship, but it's nothing constructive enough to say, like, hey, I've got a business degree or I've got a business PhD or an economics PhD. It's like, I'm 18, 19, 20 years old. Like, I really haven't experienced a market crash. I haven't experienced anything economically detrimental. And it's like, well, how do I experience it then in such a short amount of time? Honestly, networking. That's how I did it. Was networking with sponsors, key principals, and heavy duty operators that already have the scars, they have the bruises, they have the injuries, and now they're teaching other people about it. Because I can build my own deal and raise my own capital, exit my own deal pretty sloppily and with a lot of panic and a lot of swears in between. But I realized that I can't do it alone. It'll be almost impossible for me to do it alone. I say almost impossible. But I realize that I need that leverage. I need that strength behind me. And I need to lean on people that have more experience than I do. They have more knowledge, they have more wisdom. Like the two deals that mom and I are working on, the teams that we worked with are not new. They're very experienced and they're very well versed in the industry because we're not only here to be financially free, but I also want to educate myself. The best way to learn real estate is to do real estate. And I realized that. It's like, who could I align with? Who could I talk to? I will join masterminds. I'll join virtual networking calls. I'll go down to different real estate events and just talk with people that are smarter than me. Every time I go into a room, I want to make sure full and well I am the dumbest person in the room because that means I'm in the right room. I'm like, good. I could learn from those that are up here while I'm down here. I mean, they're like far up here. I'm like, perfect. Those are the people I want to align with because I can learn and grow with them. I can leverage my youth and my time and my energy to potentially help them to build their business. They can teach me, I can build my business. It's a win-win scenario. But just through my youth and being so different and unorthodox and so driven and having that why, I've connected with some of the coolest people. I mean, I've spoken on stage twice with Peak Multifamily just because of my youth and trying to make it in the industry. I've connected with people like Russell Gray, who have connected me to Robert Kiyosaki, who I've had on my show, Adam Taggart, who I've had on my show. He's connected me to people like Marcin Droz and Ken McElroy. Ken McElroy collaborated with another host on their podcast. And I'm like, how did I do that? Networking and just learning from people that are so more experienced than I am, and kind of just, excuse my French, having the balls to go up and say, how can I provide value to you? I'm
Right.
young. I get it. I'm inexperienced, but I want to help. I want to build and I want to lean on your expertise and learn from you. That's it. And they're like, okay, like it's very rare, but it's like if there's two sides of the coin, again, for the other side for this person, it's either you're inexperienced, I'm going to say no, or you're inexperienced, you're a fresh palate, you're young, I could leverage you. Bingo. And it's like that, this is really the core side that I think about. Again, I think of this and I acknowledge it. I know it's a weakness, but I believe my strength outweighs my weakness. So that is how I've been able to connect with some of these amazing people and amazing mentors is acknowledging my flaws of being so youthful, but also the strengths of being so youthful. It's the time and the energy I have and the humility to understand that I'm new to this game. I'm in an adult game and I'm just a boy trying to do an adult game. It's like, hello, trying to do multifamily real estate or invest in oil or tangible assets like gold and silver. I'm not experienced, but I can leverage the experienced. So that is how I've been able to do it. And just kind of stepping up to the plate and asking the question, how can I help? How can I help you? I'm young. I've got hunger. I want to learn. So answer's always no until you ask. I know it's a long winded answer, but That is how I've been able to do it. It's just networking, acknowledging my flaws and my strengths, and just utilizing them to the best of my ability. And that's how I've been able to do it.
Mary Kay Ash said 80% of success is just showing up. And the fact that you continue to show up again and again at 20 years old, I mean, you're outshining most quote unquote adults, right? There's a lot of people who don't show up in these rooms. And I remember the last time we were at a conference and I saw you and your mom. Actually, I saw your mom in the washroom and
Yep,
I looked at her and I was like, I know this lady. And she and I started talking and then I saw her name tag and I went, oh my gosh, I know exactly who you are. No, it was
exactly,
just great.
exactly.
It was just fantastic. Tell me, Michael, what are you reading these days?
Actually, what am I reading? I actually just wrapped up two books that I highly recommend. One of them is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddles. Excellent guy.
Okay.
I didn't meet him, but he's an excellent author. I've read that book. I've looked at some of his other books. Amazing. Great for mindset. Because, in all honesty, that book really tells you it is your moral obligation to become wealthy. Because if you become wealthy, you can help a lot more people. And I'm like,
A lot of people.
wow. I'm
I
like,
know, right?
it's really the basis of money as a tool. And you can use the tool any way you want. Is it the correct way? Is the question. I mean, people use money for malicious reasons, but I'm going to use money to help for the better reasons. How many people could I serve better if I'm wealthy? How many other people could I teach if I'm wealthy? So that's one thing. The second book is How to Win Friends That Influence People
Those
by Dale
people.
Carnegie. Such a good book. I mean, I'll go back to that book time and time again because I'm a capital raiser. I love to network, but it's how can I utilize these more than this? Because that's the biggest key point is listening more than you talk and actually listening to every detail and being present. And I've read that book, one to help me with my personal relationships, but also number two, my business relationships, because it teaches you the core fundamentals of how to be a valuable person to other people and how to just be a good listener. That's the biggest thing. And the next one I want to say is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. If you really,
Mm,
really, really, really want to take ownership of yourself personally and professionally, read that. It will definitely kind of sit you down and go, listen, we need to have a talk. That's the best way I can describe that book. Uh, it's a great book if you are kind of slipping or you're kind of doing this, like, I don't want to work today, or it's like, I don't know what to do. It's very much you're also the boss, but you're also the employee. You're the soldier, but you're also the general. So you have to give the orders and actually execute on the orders. And I'm like, okay, I could leverage that because
right.
it's so easy for us as entrepreneurs to say, well, I'm my own boss. I'm gonna take the day off. Well, if you take the day off now, you're working one extra day. Why don't you just work for these next couple of months or next couple of years when you could have the rest of your years to actually say, all right, I'm the boss, I'm taking vacation. Done. Like, that's it. Is the job done? No. Okay, then what are you doing? Right? Oh, something bad happened? Good. What's the good in it? Oh, something good happened? Good. What's the good in it? Like, it's literally just extreme ownership, taking responsibility, taking ownership for every action, whether it's positive or negative, and just being your own boss and also your employee and acknowledging those two factors and leveraging them. So, those are the three books I would say recently that I've read that are just super powerful, and I love them. They're
That's so
awesome.
cool. You know, Michael, I have a lot of younger, biologically younger aged people, and I always say that. I say biological age because I feel like there's like a my audience is landlords, right? Nugget landlords and newbie landlords, lots of real estate investors, but a lot of biologically young people who are wanting to get into real estate, or I mean, I have listeners who are nugget landlords, meaning they know 98% of what I say, but they're mining for how I say it a little different, or maybe one little line that they can add somewhere. What,
Yep.
maybe a little form, or hey, I never thought of it like that before, right? This is where it's like, okay, biological age in real estate, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily matter. It's your effort, it's your focus, it's your engagement, it's
100%.
showing up. And I find it really interesting because I get encountered with so many people. I know you do too, because you've got podcasts and you're a capital raiser, so you're a networker. I
Yep.
just chuckle because recently the most frightened person that approaches me as a newbie landlord isn't biologically young. They're usually in their 60s and they're first time landlord. They've likely inherited real estate from a passed away family member, and they are now deciding if they should self-manage this asset or not. And they usually reach out. And I mean, the last time it happened, the person was shaking. They were so nervous and so unsure as a 60 something year old. I mean, this is where it's like, growing up as a landlord is how I quantify it. And it can be a challenge in different ways, and age is only one part of that. So I applaud you, and I'm big fans of you and your mom. Tell me, what's your greatest challenge right now?
Hmm. Well, I'd like an extra day in the week and probably an extra day of sleep. But that's an entrepreneur. That's what we
Okay.
want. That's what we want. But
More
outside of
time.
that,
Okay.
yeah, outside of that joke, honestly, just more looking more towards opportunities. I think that's my bottleneck, and also,
Okay.
I'm at the phase where I have to start delegating. I mean, starting to scale my business, which is an absolute blessing. But I realize that the pressure that I'm under with all these projects that I'm trying to build out, because it's like, well, what if I try this? What if I try that? And I'm like, ooh, I need to start delegating. And so I'm using a lot of AI like Claude and ChatGPT in order to do that for me. But now it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, now I need an employee. Outside of that, it's looking for more opportunities to invest in. Because right now, economic wise, there's a lot of deals that are coming to market because of debt that's expired years ago. And there's a lot of business plans that are starting to go up for quote unquote sale because, all right, business plans expired. Let's start, selling them. And some of these deals are garbage. Some of these deals that I come across are
Yeah.
just absolutely deplorable. Between the structure and the expenses and some of the listing prices, I'm like, holy cow, you don't know what you're doing, do you? It's like, wow. I'm like, you're not going to get it for that price.
No.
Anyway, long story short, it's looking for new opportunities and having more opportunities come across my desk. I'm having more, but not enough for my mother and I to talk to our investors and go, what do you think of this deal? Like, would you invest with this deal? We have all kinds of investors. You have your cash player investors, you have your equity play investors, you have your long term hold investors, you have those investors that don't care, they just want to make money. It doesn't matter whether it's now or later. It's like, all right, so we got to figure out which deal would make sense. And it's just looking for those opportunities and having those opportunities handed to us, mainly in the Southwest. That's what we're looking for
Okay.
because one, it's dry, two, it's sunny, and three, we live close by. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's the biggest bottleneck or challenge we have is deal flow right now. But other than
Deal
that,
flow.
it's pretty good.
Where do you see you and your mom in 5 years? What's your projection for you guys?
I would say in 5 years, I don't want my mother to do anything. Like I honestly
Okay.
just want her to just float and do nothing. I just want her to just sit there and just be bliss. But I know knowing my family, knowing my blood, that's not going to happen. She's also going to be in the same position that I am, and that's to start teaching people more frequently. Is to get on more stages, talk about our story, our successes, our failures, our mistakes, our weaknesses, our strengths, and all of those things. And just to enlighten people, raise awareness about multifamily and these passive investing opportunities that not a lot of people talk about. So I think we're still going to be serving our target market of helping middle Americans for as long as we can. But I know around probably year 5, I know I'm going to be like, Mom, let me take the wheel. You go and relax. But I would say that'll be it for me is, have a portfolio that I can leverage to teach as many people as I can, to serve as many people as I can, and to literally have it where the business works for me. I don't have to work for it anymore. And
Hmm.
that's the goal is just to have as much time with my family as I can, spend as much time with them as I can, and to spend time with the ones that I love. So that's it. That's where I see myself in 5 years is helping as many people as I can and spending as much time as I can with those that I love because I know I can't get that back. So that's the biggest goal for me.
You're saying that at 20 and at 25, you will have achieved that. And what's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Like if you were going to pick something, what is the big one for you that scares you, because you have time. You have
Ooh,
time to try and fail multiple times, try and do all kinds of things badly,
that's a good
wrongly, and
question.
still recover and do it. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that one thing for you?
Ooh. Oh, I haven't even thought of a goal this big before. But I'd say, hmm, I don't know. Honestly, just having either the opportunity to go anywhere at any time in the world. That is one thing I would love to have. Is like at the drop of a hat, all right, I'm going to Sicily. Bye. That's it. I'm like, Mom, pack your bags. We're going to, I don't know, Germany for a week. Okay, yep, just go. And not have to worry about, how many zeros do I have left in the bank account. I could walk into mom's favorite store and I could look at mom and say, Mom, anything you see in here is for free. Have fun. That is the goal that I want. But I'd say professionally, I at least want to have when I'm 25, probably 6,000 doors or more. And
Okay.
to have that where I can leverage that portfolio to really have enough passive income where I don't need active income anymore, where I don't have to be a GP. All I have to do is just invest. And then I'll never sell my company, but I'll just keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. Do stuff like infinite banking, invest in trusts, start investing in different asset classes like oil for tax benefits. If I want to preserve my equity and my money, invest in gold and silver, and just to diversify, almost like this big investment tree. And then I have a big family. That's something I long for. And that's my audacious goal is to be uh, I want to have enough capital where one, I don't know what to do with it, but also number two, it could serve my family for generations to come. And that's the goal is to have too much. It's like, what do I do with this? I don't know what to do. Do I do infinite banking? Do I save it for my son and daughters? Like, I don't know. Or do I just utilize this to fuel more of my business to teach more people and then to better serve my generations to come, to build that solid, unbreakable foundation for my family to say, all right, I've done my piece and I'm good. So that is my
Michael,
audacious goal is to kind of uplift my past legacy and then my future legacy and kind of being the heavy the head that wears the crown. But I'm happy to do it just to make sure that where my mother was financially with that worry that never happens again from here on out. That's the
mm,
goal. That's my big audacious goal is to I never want my wife, my kids, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, and those that come after me, I don't want them to worry because that destroyed me when I saw mom like that. I was like,
mm,
that ain't happening again. No.
yeah.
For as long as I live, that's not going to happen again. And so far, I think we're doing a pretty good job.
So far, you guys are very entertaining duo, that's for sure, no question. And I know that you did not end up going to college, but just listening to you speak about all the different investment types and different aspects and the words and the terminology you use and stuff, I think that you got a bigger education than you ever could have paying for college. Would you
I think so
agree?
too. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too. Yeah, it's like instead of me being in college debt for 4 years, why don't I just leverage debt to buy multifamily properties that pay me back? And not only
Hello.
that, I can learn from more professors that are experts in that field. And not only that, if you really want to learn from a lot of experts, go read some books from these people. That's the biggest thing. You can't afford a mentor? Read their books. Find them online. Follow them. Like, comment, repost. I mean, there's so many free materials out there. And I realized, like, why don't I build my own college, my own university, and just learning from that? And that's kind of what mom and I did. It's like instead of me going to college and like frat parties and whatever, and then trying to figure out a job and then trying to see if my degree will get me a job, why don't I build it? Like why can't I build my own college? And that's really what we did. So self learning. Lincoln actually taught himself law. There's so many people that taught themselves at either early ages or even middle ages. It's like doesn't matter. Self education is so underrated, but it's so valuable, and that's really where most of my knowledge has come from: is self education, having the hunger and curiosity to go, well, how do I do that? How do I do this? What is that? What does this mean? And then figuring it out and learning from it, and not just learning, but also doing it. Because it's great to learn it, but if you don't do anything about it, it might as well be useless. So,
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
pretty much it for
amazing.
me.
Michael, you're such a gem, and I enjoy talking with you and your mom. And full transparency, we have other calls and we talk with other people. You and me and Mike and some other people too. And I enjoy having you, and I am excited for you because we all know at 20 years old, if I'd have known what I know now, then where would I be? And you're
Yep.
30 years behind me, even more educated than I am about real estate. I mean, I've done lots of real estate deals too in different ways. You've got a different journey going on, but that's pretty incredible. No, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. Sorry we missed your mom. What's one piece of advice if you had to start Ever Forward over again? What's one piece of advice you wish you had?
One piece of advice I wish I had, and this is where I lost a lot of time and a lot of energy in the beginning,
Hmm.
um, is do not do everything. Don't be chief cook and bottle washer. You'll blow off so much time and so much energy in the beginning. What you have to do is you have to be truly honest and transparent with yourself and go, what am I great at? What do I suck at? And for me, I mentioned this in the beginning of the episode. I'm not great with business structure and being pragmatic and being able to be the financial guru behind, like the underwriter, the accountant, stuff like that, to have that pragmatic or frugal mindset. I'm very it's in its infant stages with me, but I am very much the visionary. I like to talk to people. I like to brew these great ideas. Don't know how to get them there, but I'm like, wait, I could talk to people. I like going online and teaching people. I like to network. Oh, I'm a capital raiser. So who do I need? Oh, I need an asset manager. I need an underwriter. I need an acquisition specialist. I can also do acquisitions. But I figure, well, I want to do acquisitions, but I know that all of my strengths are heavily invested in capital raising, or I like to call it raising awareness. And I'm like, well, if I can master that, I can leverage other people who are masters in other fields that I lack in. And I was like, I wish I knew that in the beginning because I don't know where I'd be multifamily wise, but I know I'd be farther than I am along right now.
Mm,
The biggest thing I would say is find people that have your weaknesses as their strengths. And you also have to find people that have your strengths as their weakness. So it's almost this leverage of equilibrium. So it's like no one's like this or like this. It's almost like this. That right there is a good team. That's a good partnership where everyone's in alignment and where everyone can help each other and leverage each other. So that's the biggest thing. Don't do everything at once. Don't be a jack of all trades, master of none. Master one thing, be excellent at that one thing, and just go for it. And don't be shy. Just be bold with it. Just go ever forward with it. That's the
that's
best way I could
awesome.
put it.
Michael, thank you so much. If a listener wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
That's a great question. So people can find me at www.everforwardcapitalpartners.com, or just to keep it short, everforwardcapitalpartners.com. We've got a free book on there. I've got my podcast that's also published there. Feel free to, give us a call or book a call or give us an email if you have any questions, and feel free to tune in whenever.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for joining us today.
Of course.